classic hits and today's biggest tunes. Six Sounds Radio.
Okay, it's Osfest Sunday, and I'm backstage with the guys from Hi-Fi. How are you doing today? You okay?
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah, very well, thank you.
The rain has properly come out today. Unfortunately, it might go off by the time you're on stage. Have you got a big crowd-pleasing set for the fans tonight?
We always attempt to do big crowd-pleasing sets wherever we are, whatever we're doing, really. So I hope so. I mean, it's a real shame about the weather because obviously it's been so nice recently, and it's so damp and miserable out there. But everyone seems to be there's a few hardy souls braving it out, you know. So
hopefully everyone will be so drunk that they don't even notice.
Yeah, I've already seen a few of your fans waiting in anticipation already. You know, I think they're going to be up for it tonight, whatever the weather. Typical British summertime, really, isn't it? So 2012's gone quite quickly for you. Started off, you were in Japan first of all. How did that go?
Had an amazing time out there. Yeah, did a show in Tokyo and a show in Osaka. Yeah, brilliant. All the out there always go for it. And yeah, it's always a great experience.
We always have a good time in Japan, and it's just kind of like one of those. We love going there. The people are great. The food's great. You know, you always have a kind of a quite surreal but amazing time over there. So it was good. It's a good way to start the year.
How did they compare to the British fans? A bit more hardcore over there.
Well, they're a lot more polite, but they're also a lot more kind of I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe intense, perhaps, is probably that sort of.
You like presents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they seem to like hang around at the hotels, and they're very excited to meet you and stuff.
Yeah, cool. And then you did more studio work. Is this for album 4 already?
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like these days you have to turn things around a lot quicker than maybe a while ago. And also we took a while to make our third album, so we were kind of always thinking about trying to get in and start moving on that. At least just start exploring some ideas, you know. We kind of took we took a couple of weeks off after we got back from Japan, and then we started sort of just getting in there and knocking ideas about, really, and just every kind of album we sort of try and we look around our studio and see what needs doing, and we go, right, let's fix up this one. And so we've been doing a bit of that, a bit of DIY,
having a bit of a refit at the moment. We've got some new equipment as well, so keen to get in and test it out.
I can imagine it's going to be 10 years as a band next year, isn't it? Is there anything special planned for that?
Probably. It's already 10 years.
Jesus.
I suppose it will be from the early days, won't it? So we'll probably split up.
I think it's 7 years since Stars of CCTV.
Yeah.
I think that's 7 years. You worked, of course, like with Stuart Price on the last album. Is there anyone you want to work with on the next album? Have you thought about that yet?
Not yet. I mean, one of the things we sort of found on the second album was it was great working with other people, but you're always waiting around for other people, and you know, and so this one we might just end up getting cracking with it and just get on with it ourselves. So then we can just, you know, sometimes if you want something done, do it yourself. We have done a couple of things where there might be a kind of like a separate thing, but you know, like I've done a couple of top lines for dance tracks, that kind of thing. We'll see if any of those come to fruition. But a couple of them you're thinking, you know what, this could almost be a Hi-Fi track. So maybe we'll try and, you know, hook up with those guys and see how that pans out. But they'll be, you know, a bit more kind of up and coming guys, because they just seem to be, obviously they're not freakishly busy, and you don't have to wait 2 years, and also they're really hungry and got loads of great ideas. So
They've always had a dance influence as well, like from the early days, like the Axwell version of Hard to Beat, you know what I mean? It was something that got you in the clubs that perhaps wouldn't have played just your normal CCTV tracks.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been into that sort of music, and when we were making, you know, Hard to Beat originally, when I wrote it, was a house track. But then obviously we kind of just played around with it and put it into a sort of the way of the band doing it. But we've always kind of imagined it as it being a bit of a mash-up of all sorts of stuff.
Hard to Beat, if you took the guitars out and changed the sound of the drums a little bit, it is a house track.
And I think a lot of bands sort of followed suit as well, because, you know, the bleed of genres, etc., and that's sort of gone out the window now. No one likes to subscribe to any genre, do they?
Well, I think that one of the problems you have now, though, is you know, it's almost like people now go, you've got to have a remix. You know, otherwise you might not even get on the radio if you haven't got there's some remix by someone who's cool at the moment, even if they're not very good. You know, you kind of got to have the remix, and it's kind of like, well, no, you surely should have a remix if someone comes up with a great idea. It should just be about, you know, like people working together and ideas coming out. Not like you've got to have that. It's like some kind of bill of whatever they call it. You know, like that you have to have tick that box. You know, it should be like, yeah, have a remix if there's a good one. But you know, because one of the things we always thought was, you know, when we sat there and first heard the X-File mix, going, this is great, but it wasn't how I thought it might be. But then someone explained to us, well, your original track is kind of almost, it's almost a dance track anyway. So that's kind of, how you might have originally seen it. And so it's always interesting with remixes, because we often find that we hear them and go, I wish we'd thought of that. So that's one of the reasons for working with people like Stuart Price, is that we try and cut out that process and get straight to that point of them sort of hearing a tune fresh and hearing it in a different way and maybe look at it in a different way.
Yeah. So 2012, we're halfway through now. You've got a couple of festival appearances besides Osfest. Anything else you're up to this year?
We're doing a few overseas things. We're going to South Africa to do a festival over there and a few other bits and pieces. I think our main thing is just trying to go, right, what's the next halfway album going to sound like, and let's get cracking with it, really. I think you just got to keep making music.
Keep going at it, you know what I mean? Yeah. People think you went away for 4 years. You didn't really go away for 4 years, did you? You were always doing stuff.
Yeah, always involved with doing it every day, but time flew past. We don't know quite where it went.
But when you think about it, we the second album, Once Upon a Time in the West, came out sort of September 2007. But you toured that until the end of 2008. Most of the songs that are on the latest album, Killer Sounds, were demoed by the end of 2008. So it's how come? What happened between 2009 and 2011? Well, if you want to work with the best people, you have to wait for them. The talent's worth waiting for.
Thanks for doing this interview today, and I hope you see you back in Stoke one day, because you've done some brilliant gigs at the Sugar Mill, etc. So it'd be good to see you there.
Not too long ago. It was Christmas, was it?
Yeah. I remember one of our first shows in I think it was just outside Stoke, Hanley, is it?
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the venue. It was an NME night, but
it's either the Underground or the Sugar Mill. They're the two venues. I think it wasn't
Sugar Mill.
I think it was the Underground. I think it was the Underground.
Yeah, that was a good night. It was a good bit of a riotous night.